after having gone through the storms of Georgia, we had the 1 o'clock game moved back to a 3:30 maybe 3:20 something like that game, and thought we played better. We still struggling to stop people, and we turned the ball over at the worst of times at the beginning of the game. So we behind before we get off the bus good, because we get a turnover on a little shallow route at the very beginning of the game to get down close, and we can't stop them now. But what happens is we eventually got them slowed down a little bit, and kept them in the 20-point range in the first half, and then we give up a doggone score right at the end of the half, which was the most right after we'd had a nice little drive on offense to kind of get back into a little bit of a rhythm of sorts. We give up that big play, and that was just plain ugly. That was almost unforgivable, and with 30-some seconds to go in the game, so 30-some seconds to go in the half. So that might have been the most disappointing play of the whole day. But besides that, I thought our guys hung in there and played better. Not good enough, but better. Go, Travis. You got your notebook. You got your question written down on that phone there.
Yes, sir. Coach, you're done with the first third of the season for the most part, or
first quarter. Somewhere in there between there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Just evaluate where this team is.
Yeah, we're not nearly far enough along. We're not mature enough, and we're starting now to try to waffle on how we playing our quarterbacks. Looks like we playing both those guys. We hadn't planned on that. Thought that it'd be a clean cut case of one guy, and because we lack the skill set of the combination of the two, it appears that we're going to play both. Offensive line is starting to kind of come together now. We lost Dallas Ford. Looks like he's gonna be out for the season with a knee injury. And then we feel pretty good about Moses Umorin, who we started the right tackle. He's starting to really come on. Between Moses and Trey Franklin, we need to find another guy, another offensive line guy too. But we can't afford another injury that way. We playing all young skill guys. All of our offensive skill is pretty much green as a gourd. The running backs, we got 3 freshmen and 2 redshirt freshmen, and they're really all pretty good. They're just not very experienced, but they're good kids, and they're hard workers, all that kind of stuff. So I'm looking forward to seeing those guys come out of the open week, out of the open weeks, because we actually got 2 open weeks here in the next month. And so, those guys seem to be coming on, but they need developing. They need experience. And then wide receiver wise, we seem to have 2 or 3 guys, the 2 top guys, returning guys in the group, Justin Smith-Brown and Richard Baylor, still kind of nursing injuries, that kind of stuff. And Richard's played a little bit better Saturday. It looks like he's kind of coming on. And then we lost Jordan Smith for a minute. I think hopefully he'll be back in time, but right now he's going to be down for a couple of days. So we played Nigel Johnson and Jalen Linder, as wide receiver, freshmen out of high school and stuff. So that, that's almost well, it ain't quite a death sentence, but you're looking right over there at the daggone execution. He's sitting there waiting, hoping you make a bad move. So we got pretty good personnel, but they're green. So as we get to the point where we starting to try to get to our level of play, I sure hope the Citadel come in here and beat us up, because that's a possibility. But at the same time, they're struggling a little bit too. So if we can get through these next game or two, if we can win a game, first of all, we really need to win a game. And thank goodness we playing these guys at home, because I'd be afraid as all get out going on the road to play another team now. 3 games in a row is enough, especially at the level of competition we played. So scheduling wise, you know, we're a little bit of a victim of that, along with the fact that we hadn't played good enough. But let's say that we are still in the developmental stage of where we ought to be. We need to be farther along, but we're not. Offensively, we think that we start to improve a little bit. Then defensively, you know, it's almost scary sometimes, the fact that we hadn't stopped people at a higher level, at a higher rate than we have. We can't stop the run right now, which is really a big deal. So that'll be a big emphasis for the next couple of weeks, trying to get our guys up and running. And you start talking about pad levels and using your hands and all that kind of stuff. I don't get that kind of stuff with y'all, but I can tell you that it's a little bit of everything, and personnel-wise. And we got enough bodies. We just hadn't quite played good enough. So we are in the process of getting a better read on exactly who can do what for us up front. And then last but not least, if we can't stop the run, then you can't. Then it's almost impossible to stop the pass because you're too busy trying to commit extra people trying to stop the run. You know, so you know our little secondary, and those guys are kind of green too. We got Jameer Benjamin is the tackling joker we got on our defense. He'll tackle everybody if we give him a chance. Of course, he's a little broke up, but and then right now I'm kind of leaning toward Mike Brunson. Marquise is seems like he can help us. So we got enough bodies back there, but we don't quite have them at the point where, you know, they're confident enough to actually get in there and just kind of rock and roll with anybody. So defensively, we got 2 weeks right now to get ready for the Citadel. And we better find out, you know, if we can tackle, and we better find out if we can stop the run in general. So people gonna isolate you and make you play, defend the field, which means that you got to tackle on the perimeter. And then they're gonna try to see if they can beat us up inside and see if they can just run through it. So we gotta be able to show some sign of being able to stop the run. And at that point, then we can then circle the wagons, try to see if we can get the rest of. But right now, we can't cover, we can't stop the run. We got more issues than we can actually even kind of add up as far as what we've got as far as the defensive side of the ball is. But let me tell you what, our guys are working at it, and I think we got really good people over there doing all of what they're supposed to do. So at that point, during this week, we think that they're figured out.
How do you use this off week?
Well, the first thing we do is we go back kind of to a camp mentality, back to a preseason camp mentality, where you do some fundamental and some you know, early season kind of stuff. But then at the same time, we got to get to the point now where we really clearly define who's where and what our roles are and who can do what and that kind of stuff. And then we can kind of study ourselves. We do a self-scout. We only got 3 games, so that should be a pretty easy figure of what we have done and what's been good and what's been bad, that kind of stuff. So we'll go back and self-scout ourselves and go back and then take a little bit of a look at what people are trying to do against us. And then from there, you know, we'll go about the task of putting a game plan in for the Citadel. Ordinarily, we'd probably be mostly a lot of crossover team and that kind of stuff against yourself, that kind of stuff, a lot of crossover drills, offense versus defense. But in this particular case, I think we'll probably end up doing more Citadel prep and trying to get ourselves to the point where we can actually figure out, you know, the kind of things that we're gonna need to do in 2 weeks.
Will you scrimmage at all?
Not much.